Imagine for just a moment that you are God. You're the creator of the universe. Andy preached that last week. Small sermon. That was unexpected. Heroes do the unexpected. Did I just make myself a hero? We're all heroes for God. God does the unexpected. See? I love it when God starts a sentence that way. See? I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland. Isaiah 43:19. Isn't that interesting? God's doing a new thing. It's not dependent on us doing a new thing. He's already doing a new thing. It's up to us to perceive it. Why in the world don't we sometimes? On a serious note, thank you for your prayers this week. I'm a blessed man. Not only because of this rock over here that was there for me, and for your prayers going up, but living this far from home. We left here a couple weeks ago, and I was pretty overwhelmed with everything that we had planned out in front of us. Trying to squeeze in seeing family in Iowa. Getting up for the birth of our grandchild, which we thought, if it went the way Laura usually goes, would be 3 days early on Tuesday. It was your mom's birthday, wasn't it? Or was it Monday? Monday. Yeah, 3 days early would have been Monday, which would have given us a little bit of time before I had to head to Indiana for classes and leading worship for the denomination and such. And as it turned out, we didn't get left for Michigan when we thought. And you all know how that happened. But if we had tried to squeeze all that in after conference, I wouldn't have been in Iowa. I got to sit down with my mom and have coffee and visit and hug her and tell her I loved her 3 hours before her heart went. You can't even think to ask for God for something like that. I went to Cedar Rapids. I was having a day out with her sisters. And my brother-in-law and I were just about ready to walk into a movie theater. I don't even remember what we were going to see, 18. I reached for my phone to shut it off, and I got a phone call. Before we walked into the movie theater, right before I shut it off, I got a phone call, and it was my sister. And I was in the city where they were going to airlift my mother, and I was able to be at the hospital for the helicopter to come in and sign the papers. I am a blessed man. I didn't expect when I left here that any of that was going to happen. And Wednesday afternoon, we left and went to Indiana because I had a peace that this was going to be different than the other times. My mom was already gone. The machines were sustaining a body that was empty. And I was sure of it. And the brain scans Friday showed it to be true. So, I was there. God is good. And God does the unexpected. I'm not praying for God to do some miracles for you like those particular miracles. I don't want everybody to lose somebody they love this week, okay? But when we experience loss, our God is mighty and great. And my grandson pulled a fast one and came 3 days late. So Deb was able to be there, and about 20 minutes before I rolled into the conventions facility, he was born. But as we gathered on Monday morning with a couple hundred people from denominational headquarters and people that are ministry students from all over the country and professors, first of all, I did not expect that he would call up all the professors, the guy that was heading the thing, and introduce them and bring me up as well to be introduced, and then pause in the middle of the beginning of everything and just open it up to the whole of those people, what the circumstances were that I was there for, and to have those people do what you did to me today. People from all over this country and leaders of our denomination to lay hands on me. That was unexpected. God does the unexpected, and his people, his heroes, are to do the unexpected. That's the way it's been since the beginning of the church. God's known for doing new things. He does the unexpected. We as his followers should reflect that characteristic of him. It's part of who he is. We can get stuck in our ways. We can get comfortable with the way things are, with our habits. We can get timid about our creativity. By the way, look at all the creativity up here. Amy told me this morning I didn't have to have that monitor connected because it's not hooked up to anything. I didn't have to have the power on. I said, but it blinks. It blinks. The creativity that's going into Bible school is the kind of creativity that probably should be generated in our hearts and from our minds every day of every year when it comes to how are we going to impact the world around us for Jesus. We can settle for the status quo. We can be settled into what we come to expect represents what we think church is, or we can do a new thing. Because settling for just how things are isn't how the church got started. Or we wouldn't all be here today worshiping Jesus. In the early days of the church, people were people who not only believed in God and that he did unexpected things, but they were people who didn't act in a way that others would expect. Because they reflected that characteristic of God, that surprise element. The gospel survived to reach a world of unbelievers of whom we were part of. And if we're going to reach the rest of the world, we need to reflect that part of Jesus as well. Like those in the early church. God will call upon us to be courageous heroes for God who do new things. God's heroes do the unexpected. In the passage we had, by the way, I really miss singing, by the way. I want my voice back. So don't forget to pray for that this week, even if you don't like to hear me sing. Saul. Oh, we know Saul's story. If we don't, we have to remind ourselves of it. Saul was the chief persecutor of the Christians in Jerusalem. Saul was the one who would hold the garments of those who stoned Christians to death. Now, it makes you wonder if he was a good cheerleader or he just didn't want to get his own hands dirty. But in any case, he was there to instigate. He was there to see punishment, persecution, oppression done to the church. And he was so zealous about it that he decided, hey, it's going pretty good here in Jerusalem, getting rid of all these Christians. I'm going